Welcome to Life You Got This. Life You Got This, Misty Covington, guests, and any social media platforms used, including any references, links, or other knowledge resources, are for informational purposes only. Please seek professional assistance should you require it. If you believe you are in an emergency, call 911 immediately. Hey everybody, this is Misty Covington with Life You Got This, and it's another episode with my sister and the series called My Sister the Therapist. Is that what we call this series?
It is, but
okay.
We might tweak it, but
We'll probably change the
we're gonna
name.
keep it that way. I like that name.
We're deciding we want to be more casual and eat while we're doing this. So we're going to figure out how to bring, you know what we should do is make some recipes. Oh, by the way, hi Marcee, how are you?
How's it going?
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and
We were talking about like, you know how we're doing that cookbook on mental health and all the things. And I'm like, oh yeah, we should test recipes out and then try them here. And
we should, and we should eat them after we make them. Yeah,
and then go
I like that.
Score it or whatever, and then we'll do the score it. They're all going to be 10s. Let's be clear on that.
Be honest. Sometimes you're like, the last recipe I made was really bad. That was like. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, whoever said it's two ingredient recipes with cottage cheese and something, I was like, that was not.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Sometimes they say it, and then I watch these people who like when, they'll hit the counter and going, I'm going to test this recipe out and tell you if it's worth your macros or worth whatever. And I saw only one time I said, don't make it. All the others were like, I would give this an 8 or a 9 or 10.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Whenever we talk about this, I think I'm a pretty freaking decent cook. And I think I do well with combinations of foods and spices. And I never have a recipe. So usually it's not made well twice. But the one time I was trying like an all raw diet. And I was trying to create, and of
like
course,
raw as in
like don't cook.
Like you ate raw meat?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could do that. They probably did. I think they were more vegan, vegetarian.
Okay.
So I make this menu and the kids were all trying it, fell because listen, they have texture things anyways. And so like I used to have to give them spaghetti sauce that was all really like the Hunt's kind that's all macerated like mom used to do, because then they would eat it, otherwise it would only be cheese on the spaghetti. I'm like going, let's see if I can sneak, and they did it. They go and they would tell their friends, Mr. Spaghetti is great. I'm like going, it's Hunt's tomato sauce.
Yeah.
The can that's big.
85 cents, not anymore.
I know. It's probably $1.10 now. I didn't go up the price. That being said, I remember this, and my husband every once in a while will go, I don't know, not everything's a win. And I'm like going, do you realize you literally go back to that one time that I tried to make this raw meal, and it was a fail, epic. I am very tolerant. I like food, but I am very tolerant of things. I'm like, it could be better, but it's only one meal, and I need the nutrition, so I'm gonna eat the nutrition, and I also don't want to make anything else. So I'll just go. It's one meal out of a lifetime of meals, right?
Yes, for sure.
This one, I was like going, oh, I can't do this one. Like it was epic fail. I don't even know what we did. I know it went into the trash. Sorry for those who don't want to waste food, but I don't even know if the chickens would have eaten it or the pigs would have eaten it.
This could not be put in the slop bucket.
No, maybe compost. I'm like, when compost it is.
Go back to the earth.
Yes, but I still, whenever we talk about recipes and being and like, oh, we're gonna try it, what's epic fail? My brain, there's a part of my brain that has that so registered, and there's another part of my brain that goes, and that's not fair because I really am a good cook, but he will bring that one time up. I'm like, we've been married for over 20 years now.
Can we not move past that?
That's one time. There's one episode. There's one meal, and all the others have been pretty stellar.
Okay, so
at least palatable.
Yeah. So this brings me back to two things. When you discuss what you just said, I don't know what house you lived in. I don't know what house you lived in, but I automatically go back to your house you lived in El Dorado Hills. When you're saying that, I wasn't even there when you had that meal that you made. But I can see the house where I've seen you in the kitchen is what you're making it. But I think this made a really good topic to talk about today.
Okay.
Is how do you remove yourself and create a new scenario for what people think you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like for an example,
like a new image, a new
yeah,
story,
yeah.
a new narrative.
So how do you do that? Because I will say,
that's hard.
see, so I know I talk fast. So like, that's not even a doubt of my mind. And when people, I've actually had people like, when they first met me, and then like years later, they ran into me again. They say I have a distinct voice, but they're like, oh, you actually talk really slow now. Are you like talk a normal speed sometimes? And it's really interesting because they,
on the subject.
well, for sure, for sure. It depends on who I'm talking to and all of those kind of things. Because some people who talk slow, and I feel like I have to meet their cadence, but not even just talking about the like speaking, but like sometimes you don't want to live in that image anymore. You want to be known as outside that image.
16 is not who I am at 36 or 56.
For sure. Like, gosh, sometimes I want to have a pixie cut. I'm like, well, do I want to have long hair, pixie cut? Like, like, what image do I want to portray for myself? So go ahead.
Will people let me have that new image?
Well, I think that's what I was going to talk about. So as my sister, the therapist, what do I do? Or what can you help people understand? Like, because some people like end up moving. Like, I remember a friend of mine that she had teenagers, and she said it was really smart what she said. She said, they were moving and some things were going on in their children's life. And I said, well, maybe it'll be a good fresh start for them. And they said, behaviors like these continue wherever you're at until you're ready to change those behaviors. But how do you, instead of having to, and so anyways, my point, I guess I'm saying, is sometimes you feel like, I think, oh, like for myself, I'm like, oh, I moved from one town to another town, then I can kind of not reinvent myself, but people won't know who I am. Yeah. But the funniest thing is, everyone always pegs me as the same one. They always like, I'm like, can I not get away from who I think?
What's the common denominator? Me? I take me wherever I go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to, like, I do like to cook, but like, what if I want to be known for something other than cooking? You know what I'm saying?
You'll have to change your feed because you have a beautiful, foodie feed.
Yeah, for sure, a foodie feed. But like, what are some things that people who really do want to break that mold? Because, as a child, sometimes you're like, I'm the youngest child or the middle child or the oldest child. Like, some people are like, I don't want to be in that mold anymore. I don't want to be known as like, the chatty sister. I don't want to be known as the cranky sister. Or like, sometimes are like the one who's always cranky or the one who always this. It's like,
that's me. That's my image, which is probably true, by the way. It is. Oh, you're so I went very dull, not dull, like I was so small, meaning I wasn't allowed to have a big personality because I was shut down really easily or very quickly. I was basically taught in my own world how, not necessarily you, but people in my world. And then I found a voice, and then that pendulum swing, I went clear over here, like, and then I was like, I'm not afraid to say anything. And if I have a thought, I'm going to tell it. And then I was nice. There was a period of time when I was nice. And then I would say,
you would give out your last penny, your last dollar, and your last jacket to anybody.
But I'll tell you what, like in my mid 40s, and it's been 10 years now, my hormones. I'm 50. I'm in my late 50s, but I think it's a hormone thing, and I think it's also a mental health thing where I don't necessarily. Sometimes I'm depressed, sometimes I have anxiety, but it's not like a chronic thing. But I think there's a lot of shifts that happen physically and like medically as well as mentally that you just feel tight, or there's some things that you just don't. Some things you just don't know, and so like. Even I will say like, gosh, why am I so crabby? And I don't like it. And so that's part of your question.
And I guess it is because you said like sometimes you have one bad mistake and you're known for that your whole life.
That meal, right?
That's what made me think about this. That's why I'm like, oh, I really like it. You said that because that made me think like in life, I often I hear people say like, how do I get out of that mold? How do I be known for something different? And I think I know the answer, but I think it's good to talk about what are some things that people could be known.
My brain's going all over the place.
Yes, I want to hear it.
Just even with my own personal experiences and with my own family, like, and I don't know if my stepchildren listen to this. And by the way, I love them all. And there, every once in a while, I will feel very insecure, or maybe I had a moment that was off. Like, you know about this moment when everyone's talking and I'm sitting in a chair and I'm watching the grandkids, and the grandkids a few of them were already running amok. They were throwing soda, and they'd already been asked not to, and not by me, but other people. And some of them are more physical than others. And I went out there to stop them from being, I look like, because like a broom was over their head. And I wasn't even mad at this person. I just went out there to stop it and get their attention. And my attention is like, playground teacher who's whistling and going, stop that, stop the fight. And I was loud. I didn't think I was yelling or screaming. I was like, hey guys, like that. But then it became, by one of them was like, I'm screaming. And I'm like, well, I'm not even mad at them. Why would I be screaming? It was more of a tension thing. And I am loud. I mean, even on here, I'm loud. I listen to myself and going, why am I talking so loud? And then I come to find out this person was talking to their family, like their in-laws and stuff, and telling everybody everything. And so now it's like I'm hesitant to go over there when all of her in-laws are with there, when they're celebrating things. I can. I'm often uncomfortable with this person, but not that they're bad. Like, I really like them as people, and I think they're smart and brilliant, but I don't like the narrative they have about me as almost like I'm the other woman because I married their dad, but their parents were divorced before I even met their dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think of that personally, and how do I recreate that?
Yeah. So I guess that's a good question.
For me
a question I'd like to
personally,
know.
and then what I would tell my clients, it might be different. Because listen, I can talk a good talk. I don't always walk my talk. I'm a human. And but what's so great about being a therapist is that I might be giving people some education, or I might be helping them process things. And inevitably, I'm like, I'm a better person too, because it's always keeping me aware of truth. Like, really, what is this all about? So part of it is, I think, identifying me and really being comfortable with who I am. And like Mel Robbins, I always give her kudos, but I adore her. And she's a life coach, and she is a counselor. I don't know. I know she's not a therapist. I know that they're different. But girl, if she had I mean, she could talk like a therapist. She knows. She reads the research and all that. So I adore her. But like, she does that Let Them Theory book, which is like my favorite book to give people who have questions like this, because she talks about a lot of things, but it's so relatable. And that's why I like it. It's just relatable. And I even did a book report on it. But like, I listened to her for myself, and I'm like, well, that's right. Who am I? What's my relationship like with myself? If at one time I was the class clown, but I want people to think that I'm not just here for kicks and giggles. I have some intelligence. I want people to relate to me on a more personal level than being the class clown.
Some substance behind.
I'm not just a good time. Right. And I'm not saying this is not me. I'm just using it as an example.
No, I appreciate that.
Then I have to think of myself like, well, what's my relationship with myself? And what's the class clown mean to me? If people think I'm the class clown, or I'm the life of the party, what part of that is uncomfortable for me, if it's uncomfortable for me? So that I'm like, well, why do I want to shift that persona? What's that persona mean to me? Like,
is that a
why is that?
Is that a problem?
Why is that wrong? Or why do I think it's wrong? And I think that's really where it starts, is like, why is this wrong? Why is it wrong? Why do I feel like it's wrong if people know me as that? But then sometimes it's like, well, no, that's not wrong, but I want other people to see a different dimension. So once I get to that space of, here's who I really am, and and I love who I am, and I like spending time with me, and I want other people to see me as I see me. I would like that. Right now, if they don't, then it's to let them, they gotta think of me as someone else. So like, if my stepchildren's in-laws look at me like I don't like her, I'm just going to have to be okay with that, because I know innately like, I agree with you. I mean, if I would give people my last dime if I could, and I wouldn't do that at the sacrifice of the people I'm supposed to take care of. I would probably for the sacrifice of me, or I would say, come in here and we'll share this penny candy together.
Yeah.
I would cut the candy in half so
Yeah,
that
I
we
know
can
you would
both,
for sure, 100%.
right.
Yeah.
And so, but that doesn't make me, that makes me a giving person. That doesn't necessarily make me kind, because I can be
Yeah.
meaner than cat crap and still give the shirt off my back to someone else. Right.
Well, it's interesting. So, so I'm hearing you say this. So I would, if I would give advice, if someone was talking about this or we're having conversations, is I think it boils down to like knowing who you are as yourself, and then like saying, okay, what do I want to be known for me? Not because the outside world is seeing me, but because how do I want the outside world to view me, that I want to present, not because
what am I in control of?
Yeah.
Kind of.
You know, I'm not sure if I'm explaining that, because
I think you are.
It doesn't. I'm not thinking that the world outside. I personally, I think there comes a point, you know, maybe when you're younger or even when you're older, but when you don't know yourself, you're not sure where you fit.
Yeah.
You kind of like,
You chameleon and
yeah, for sure. But then as you get older, you want to be like, no, actually, I want to be known. I want to be known for this kind of a person. And so what do those behaviors I have bring about to those kind of things?
And kind of circling back kind of what you were saying, because you were like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. You are. I think the idea is I'm not trying to please people.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out, who am I? Do I like who I am? If the feedback of what I'm getting from other people, oh, you're the class clown, or you're kind, or you're generous, is that really who I am? And do I like that? And is that how am I acting today so that the perception of me is accurate? Like, am I authentic?
Yeah.
Am I intentional? I'm trying to say it like that. I think that makes sense. And if people might interpret it, like my intentions might be this, and they might interpret it as something else, and then I have to let that go. But if I know that when I walk into this room, I'm confident in who I might still be like, I don't know who these people are. I hope that they like me, because that would be a natural thing. If I'm going to a conference and people are like, there are people around, I'm like, man, I hope someone makes room at that table for me. Of course, I think those kind of insecurity things, but I'm also confident enough to go, I'm going to ask if I can sit with them. And if they say no, I'll feel a little weird, but I'll keep trying, because I'm confident enough to keep trying. And so I guess I'm just saying, like, it's not about pleasing other people and hoping they see me as the generous person or the class clown. It's more like, I love my sense of humor and I love to be happy. And I could be used as a mask, but it's not. I just delight in finding the whimsical about everyday life.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like this is kind of shifting. I have two thoughts, but I'm going to say this first thought is really interesting, because recently I had a child of mine. I was doing something, and for them to behave like I was behaving would be embarrassing, because they wouldn't, that's not their personality. And they said they were really quick.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
So one of my children, they were saying, they're like, they stopped themselves. I'll just say what happened. They stopped themselves. They started to say something to me, and then they said, you know what? You are who you are, and that's what makes you uniquely you. I was going to stop you from behaving like or being you,
oh my gosh,
because it is not me, and I feel uncomfortable because I wouldn't be like you.
I don't know which one of your kids, but whoever it was is brilliant. How so self-aware.
And so they said, I stopped myself because they realized, they used to not, but they realized, they're like, oh my gosh, I was feeling uncomfortable. So I was having you stop being uncomfortable. The interesting thing is this child, all children, yeah. But even when my children were little, I remember, which is going to bring my second point, is I remember sometimes they would do things and I just let them do it, even though inside I was cringing because I would not do that. Like, you know, they'd do something, nothing bad, but more like maybe they go out of their way, or they would make a comment, or they would share a thought. And I was like,
Or they
I
might
would
make cookies a certain way.
well, yeah, not even baking. It's more like
I'm saying that 'cause
relationship.
that's how
Yeah.
dad is. Dad
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't do it that way. And I'm like, it's okay if it doesn't.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because I remember I would hold myself back as a parent because I wanted them to find their own stuff. And so which circles back to my
You're
second
making
point.
the rest of us parents feel like that's good for you.
Well,
I
no,
hope
I don't-
somewhere there's a flaw, but that's amazing.
No, but that brings up my second point I was going to bring is I remember when my kids were little, because I have all four of my children have very distinct personalities. But the funniest thing is like 1, 2, and 3 all had like behaviors that were like one bit, one hit, one yelled. But then the last child, she had all of them. And so we were like, well, look, she got everything of all of them. Yeah. And so it's really funny because now they're like, she's good. Yeah.
And she's the one most well adjusted.
And that's what they said. They're like, so like child number 2 and 3 are like, she's going to be the one that makes the family successful because she has all of us together.
You know, it's so funny. I've actually interviewed her a couple of years ago, and she really knows who she is.
Yeah, she does.
And she's like going, it's okay. I'm not every, and she's not like closed about it. Like if someone gave her some feedback, she'd go, I'm going to think about that before I decide if I'm going to feel guilty about it or feel shame about it. I don't know that she's a shame person, but I think she has regrets sometimes because we talked about it. But yeah, she really knows who she is.
It's really funny because we actually had this conversation a few months ago. I'm not sure with her sister, maybe it was with her, but it was with her. I was saying to her on the phone, I was talking to her, and I said, I feel like you got the healthy mom. I feel like your siblings got the mom that didn't know herself, the young mom, and she was developing who she was. Yeah. And I feel like you got the mom that knew who she was, that was okay with who I was in my skin, and it had nothing to do with age. It had purely to do with experience and purely experience. Yeah. I feel like I'm not thinking people should have like can have 3 children close together, then one really large gap, and then the last child because she's like an only child.
What is the gap between them?
There's 6 years between the third child and her, which is not large, but it is almost like having a because we always talk
almost like
before
a fresh start.
We always talk before her or after. Yeah. She's like, no. When was that? We're like, oh, that was before you. Oh, that was after you.
That was like Tim. They were like, I think 8 years apart, and it's like having the 2 girls and then the 3 other ones because they're all about a year.
But to your point, the children thing is, when my kids were younger, I was like, I don't want people to put them in a mold. I would really try hard. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That child does do that behavior, but that might. But just so you know, let them have space to grow. Let them have space to grow to find who they are. But I don't think, by the way, as adult children, I don't think they know that I did that because we've had conversations and they don't see it that way. But I hope that.
But they're still learning and growing.
Yes,
I don't think that anybody in your 20s. No. I think you can know facets of you. Yes. But listen, like 4 years ago, I'm different. Yeah. I've already evolved, and thank goodness we can. Yes. So
I think you're going with this, by the way. I'm glad I was hoping we were going to kind of go this way.
Yes. No, I mean, I still evolve. And so like, I think I answered kind of the first part, like, what do you do? First of all, like, get to know you and get to know you who you are right now. Yes. Because there's seasons for everything. Yes, I like that. Our relationships with our families change, and it depends on proximity. Our friends change. If we change jobs, we kind of can change with our jobs. Like, my personality is different here. And it's not because I'm a different person, but these people are more casual, so I can be more casual. Or I am actually like who I am now as a therapist is different. I'm way more casual. I don't talk like a therapist, but if I have my interns or I see my interns' notes, they're more textbooky, which is beautiful. I don't think it's right or wrong, but it's just different. And I tell them, like, evolve. It's okay. You don't have to quote who the person is who coined this phrase. You can say, oh, there was a therapist that I learned this from. Like, I don't remember names anyway. And I used to feel embarrassed that I don't remember, oh, was that, Hyung, or was that, whoever, I can't think. I can't even think of a therapist right
honestly,
now.
the concept is more important than the name for me.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And I really, and I meld everything together. But
Yeah.
some people like, I'm only going to do IFS therapy. And I'm going, oh, well, I use IFS therapy in the way I have people do their journaling. Right. And because it's journaling and IFS for yourself. Oh, like such a beautiful combination right there. Like, and you won't use anyway, I'm just giving you as an example.
Talk about that next time. We should talk next time. Let's talk about journaling. I like that idea.
If you want, but yeah, I mean, we can talk. Yeah, I'm the therapist, you're the sister, and it's your thing. But the other piece, the question was like, well, what do you do to shift that? So if you've decided decided you wanted to shift, then what would it be? So if I'm wanting people to see me differently, and I'm going to use the class clown, and then I was the clown, I'm the good time Charlie kind of person. Well, then I'm probably going to do some other things so that they can see me in a different light. So if that was where I was at, I'm going to go, okay, what do I really like to do though? Like, I love to have a good time. So I'm going to go to the comedy club, and I might be the life of the party. So like when I'm in settings, like, and I'm not always because I'm uncomfortable, but you know me, I'm sarcastic and I tend to find the humor. Even when my first husband passed away, I'm the one that made the joke that he died on Friday the 13th. Nobody else did. It was not lost on me. I made a joke out of it, but I'm not losing this, man. But it was more like, really, do you know? Like, of course, I'm never going to forget this date. And so every Friday the 13th that comes by, there's a part of my brain that goes, oh, that's when you lost a husband, was on a Friday the 13th. Yes. It's not so conscious like that, but sometimes it is. But my brain remembers it. I know my brain does because I think I hear the 13th and there's my body has a little reaction, but even if it doesn't have a thought, but I'm noting that. And then my brain goes to the thought like, oh, it's probably because whatever, even though it's been 30 years. Yeah. But anyway, that being said, so I do, that's who I am. And I want to keep my humor. Now sometimes I think I'm hilarious and no one else gets it. Or sometimes my humor, someone might not be in the mood for that. And because maybe they're more tender or tired that day and the timing's off, even though the day before they would have thought that was hysterical, right? And that's good. That's good that you realize, like, that's good that you see that. So I mean, it's not all. It's some. There's if I haven't read the room, or if someone hasn't told me that, but if they tell me, I'm going, oh, I get it, because my husband was doing that to me today. I'm like going, oh man, babe, that's probably funny tomorrow. It'll be funny tomorrow. Let's just tomorrow. But today, it's not. For me, he was too close to something. I can't remember tell what it was. It's a little too close to my heart. Today. I don't know. I can't even tell you what the joke was or what he said. But I'm like, oh, that's not helping me today. And sometimes he gets hurt by that. Like I'm somehow criticizing him, but really I'm not. I'm just saying like, oh, tomorrow will be funnier. Which is good because you can say that, because I think it goes back to this whole thing is that if we know ourselves. Yeah. And then I think myself, saying what you just said right there, myself at 21 would have not been able to recognize. Oh, I would have felt guilt and shame over like, oh my gosh, I have to apologize. And oh my gosh, I said something wrong. And will they be my friend anymore? I would have been so sorry. So no, I think what you're getting to the thing that I'm seeing this conversation go to is like at different phases, maybe we can be different people, not different people, but different parts of our personality are being developed. Like for example, the other day, someone said, what would I like to go do? Because my birthday was this month. And I really wanted, my kids were like, hey, what do you want to go do? And I'm like, yeah, I think dinner's great. I was thinking it's Monday and I'm usually working and like I'm at a different phase of my life. So I work a lot more than I did when my kids were younger and like a lot more. And so, because I did have a job when my kids were younger. You had a different job? Yeah, I had my job was more like cooking. And you did stay home stuff. You did. I did. I did. Always working. I did like different. Yeah, I did I did in-home kind of work within the family. Before remote was cool. Yeah, yes, exactly. And but I was gonna say though, different. Oh, I know. I was gonna say though, is they were asking what I want to do, and I actually just wanted to go by myself. I know, it sounds so fun. Go by myself. Go by myself because I feel like I'm always on the go, and I'm like, oh, I just really want to go by myself, maybe watch a movie. I want to watch Devil Wears Prada, but it's not out till May, so I couldn't go then. And then I was like, I actually want to go to a restaurant that has live music. I love listening to live music. I love eating dinner
Probably.
The whole road is live music.
Yeah, I just love listening to live music. I love eating when there's live music. Not live like you can't talk music, but just like the background. I love that. I like the ambience. I love the people who are at events like that. I like the way they connect. But like myself at 20 did not know that stuff about me, but I do my at 55.
You have more experience. You're like, oh, that's something in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I think if people saw me, they'd be like, and I want people to know that about me. So like when we're talking about who we are as a person, I want to. It's really interesting because I have coworkers that are like, oh my gosh, what does your family not do? I'm like, I just think we just. Anyways, you
like experiences, so you do everything.
Yes, I do. I do like experiences.
So part of that though is like, okay, so
I feel like I don't look like someone who does likes experiences. I feel like I look like a girl that's like
you look like a mom. You look like not like a soccer mom. Marta looks like a soccer mom.
Yeah. I just look like the girl next door. I get
you look like a girl next door mom is what you do.
Sure.
Like I've known you all my life.
Yeah, most people are like, do I know you? I'm like, no, everyone said that to me, but thank you very much.
We just have that energy where everything's welcoming so they feel comfortable, I think. But
come to my house, come have some cookies.
That's exactly right. You're like Grandma Wolford.
Yeah. Who I love.
Who doesn't?
She was my favorite person. I really like that's why I named my daughter after her.
I know. So like if I'm
to your point,
so like, but I'm just like going, I'm just trying to help everybody one person at a time, one episode at a time. So, but the other thing is like, okay, so the humor I like, and I'm better at reading the room. So, but I want people to not see me differently, but maybe experience me differently.
Oh, I like that. Experience
and
you
so
differently.
Let's just say like, I like to read. So maybe I start a book club and my friends who see me as the life of the party get invited to my book club, right? Or maybe I invite them all to do something really different. Like there's lots of things you can do as groups, or maybe one day I go, oh yeah, let's go out to that club. Before we go, let's go out to dinner here because I love this restaurant. Or maybe they don't know I'm a foodie. And I'm like, oh, let's do this. Well, they probably would know if I was really a foodie. Yeah. But do you see what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm like going, oh, maybe I in my exploration started some new hobbies because I really was trying to figure out me. So maybe I'm like, maybe I like to hike, or maybe I've learned some artwork. Like, or whatever it is. And so I invite them to do a class with me, or I say, let's go hiking. And during those hiking times, maybe I'm more introspective. Yeah. And so I go, or maybe I became more political. You can talk about those things, but I guess that I think the thing is that they can see different sides of me because I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to show different sides of me so they can experience different sides of me. And I'm not like in the they will only accept me if I'm the partier, or if I'm the
which is a good point, because some people feel like they only have friends that they're drinking, or they only will be friends with me if I bring them cookies and
it can be intimidating saying like, okay, I think they think of me this way, which I love that they think I'm the life of the party, because I love being the life of the party and being funny. And also because part of the life of the party is you might get a lot of the attention, but you're also usually, if you're the class time, you're the spotlight's on you, but you're including other people to help them.
You're touching everybody else.
Touching everybody else with humor, or also helping them feel included. Yes. It's never like the spotlight's on me and I don't interact, right? Yeah. And I mean, I'm less like that than I used to be, but if I'm in a space where there's a few people, I'm that way. But I think it's just part of me that thinks my job is to help everybody feel comfortable, but I don't think that's really my job. I know what I feel like. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I feel like this, I wonder if they do too. And because I'm different, or because I'm okay risking or being a little bit vulnerable, I'll be the one that says something first. Yeah. Because if they don't shut me down, then that's fine. Or if they don't laugh at me, I'll go, oh, they don't get me, and that's okay. So I think that's the one piece, but that is the other thing is like, if I really know me, I can really know me till the cows come home, and I could be really comfortable with who I am, but there might still be a part of me that's a little bit timid,
Mhm.
not necessarily insecure, but cautious.
Maybe reserved.
Yeah,
a little
reserved.
bit.
Yeah,
Mhm.
reserved or cautious that people might not accept me. So what if my friends who know me as the life of the party don't accept me? Am I going to be okay with that? Now, if I know who I am, I'm comfortable, I will be okay with that. It might hurt a little bit. It most likely will sting. I'll probably
Might have to see a therapist for a few
I
seconds.
might have to see a therapist.
Yes.
Or just
that.
yeah, process it. I can process it on my own in a journal or what have you, right? But like, but I will, if I know me and accept me, then I probably accept other people are figuring them out too. So I probably won't hold them hostage
So
for them not responding.
Yeah.
But if you can do that, if you can go just that one step over that little speed bump and going, I'm going to be vulnerable and show that this is a different side. I'm going to include them. And it might not, that might not be their season. I've worked with lots of people and even have friends myself that aren't friends anymore, not because we don't like each other and not just because we moved out. It's because they weren't ready. I remember this one client was like, I have to have new friends because I'm still single and they're all on coupleships. And they all want me to do stuff with their coupleship, but I'm the odd man out, which I don't mind sometimes, but also we're in different phases. So I have to be okay with adjusting our relationship because they're all on couples and I'm still not. And I still want to do these things and they don't.
Mhm.
And I've seen clients where it's vice versa. Does that make sense? Kind of what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But I think that's how that's how you let other people in on who you are evolving in without like going suddenly, like if I never went to church and suddenly I'm a born again Christian,
Yeah.
that's intense.
Yeah.
Because born agains, we can be intense,
Mhm.
right? But if I'm like going, oh yeah, you know what? I don't want to go out late on Saturday because I've started going to church. You just bring them into your world gently and they go, oh, that's great. You might not get invited the next Saturday, but you can say, you know what, but invite me on Friday. I'll go out on Friday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
But so I wanted to touch one more thing before we end is like, and I don't know if it's going to be a short conversation, maybe we have to do it the next time is how you can't control, I know what other people are thinking. I know that's their choice, how they perceive you.
Yeah. That's good and bad.
But how do you help them? How do you, I'm going to use spaghetti sauce thing. How do you replace that spaghetti sauce narrative with something else? Which brings me to, I think we should do that for another podcast.
Yeah,
is how to
that's
replace,
good.
I had a conversation with a friend the other day and we were talking about you have to, like for me, like in my situation, I had some things that I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. And she was sharing a friend with her that we had something I call it my life change after my divorce. I don't really usually use the word divorce a lot. I usually say, oh, I had a major life change. People don't know what that means. They just know that something shifted. And at that time, I did have a lot of things shift. I went from being a stay-at-home mother that worked in the home, meaning like I did all the things that household needs, to working outside.
The breadwinner.
Yeah, the 100% primary breadwinner, and I wasn't that before. And so I call it my life change and my life shift and things like that. And my daughter was talking about it. So my anniversary and my when we were married, as well as my anniversary of our divorce, are the same exact day.
I remember that.
So what I did is I try to replace it with something that we could make a new experience for it. Yeah. And so my kids didn't realize that until I spelled it out for them. I mean, as in like years later, but I just did not want that to be a day that they saw. And I guess I'm trying to circle this back to be what I'm trying to say is like, how does someone help the other person see like, oh yeah, I've shifted. I'm still the same person.
How can you shift your realities?
Of them seeing you.
Yeah, reality A, and now I'm really reality
and
C.
I know it's not my responsibility. It's their responsibility to see us that way. But how can one help somebody? Like, I know for myself, I really have, I mean, I used to like talk to people. I mean, I still talk to my coworkers because they're like my friends now. But before, my coworkers have now replaced what I used to do, talking to people in my friendship pool. But that friendship pool is like maybe once a month I talk to a friend, but my coworker friends are like sometimes 3 or 4 times a day of the same people because of just how the work dynamics are, even though I work remotely.
And that's a good question. I mean, it could be a great discussion with examples and stuff like that, but just like a short one so people.
You know what I'm saying? So how can Tim not bring up the spaghetti sauce for you again? How can you help him not do that?
So 2 things is so one is I don't care about the spaghetti sauce everyone likes. It's the raw meal.
It's the raw meal thing. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I say it because it is funny, but also it's true. And so, but it really doesn't bother me. And so I'm not.
But what if they only knew you as a raw person? Even though you make gourmet meals every single day, they only remember that.
So the more I stay true to myself and authentic, that usually evolves and they'll see me.
Okay.
But it's also okay. Mm-hmm. It's also okay to say like, hey, I know, let's say it was an argument, or it's the party girl, right? Hey, you know what? I would have a conversation. If we're good friends, I'm going to have that vulnerable conversation and say like, you know what? I love our friendship and I love that we all get to hang out together. And I love being the life of the party. Like that has been, I love the energy. I like that we all are together and you guys think of me that way. It makes me feel good. Like that you like me around. It makes me feel seen. Mm-hmm. And I love that. And also, you guys have also noticed that I've started doing, hiking, and I've also started this book club, and some of you guys are even in it. And so like, I might even ask them like, do you guys see me as the same person, or do you see me as evolving? And has that been comfortable for you? And that would probably be, and that's a different conversation. And we're just talking on the fly. So I'm sure it could be thought differently, but it's like that. It's okay to remind people like, hey, I'm not the same person that I was 2 years ago, especially like in family or sibling groups.
Yes.
And I'll say this, one of our sisters I had a conversation with.
Intimacy, I think is, intimacy meaning not like a relationship intimacy, but like family intimacy, like people who know you.
Those conversations. I think it's when it's our more connected or more important or more, somehow we're entwined, right? Yeah. I feel like those are a little bit harder because people have us labeled differently than our friend. Our friend groups are a little bit more forgiving and stuff like that. Some of them aren't. But like, I remember having a conversation with one of our older sisters, and just as a candid conversation. And listen, you're my sister. But all of us sometimes still get kind of hot and bothered, or we hear things and we interpret it not maybe correct, or we did interpret it correct and it was hard to hear or hard to see, right? But I remember with our older sister, I remember having a kind of conversation how we were different younger. And it was interesting because she was like going, I know now who I was. And even though sometimes there's a reflection of that person because maybe I'm tired or maybe something happened that hit me emotionally and I wasn't governing that, but I'm not that person. And I remember saying to her, like, no, you're not. Because I remember a few times when I was expecting you to act a certain way and you didn't. And I wasn't surprised, but I noted like, oh, you're actually different. You're not. I remember when we were younger, it would be like, I felt like mean girl. And I don't think she would care that I would say that. I'm not using her name. And even though when I thought she was mean girl towards me, I didn't notice I felt like I got it a lot. And, but for periods of time, for whatever reason, lots of reasons, but I'm like, oh, and it's not like we never get testy with each other, or we're trying to talk and we're misunderstanding and we have to just pause. Or even you and I will do that. We have to just pause and go, okay, restate that. Or like, wait, I don't want this to be misinterpreted. Let me make sure that you get it correctly, right? But I remember, and I remember her saying like, even with marriages, like, yeah, going through menopause is freaking hard, and we become crazy women. We aren't crazy, but it's what's going on in our brains and our bodies is very real, and we don't know what to do with it. It's very uncomfortable, and we do more reactive things. And it's a real thing. And sometimes it's hard for husbands. But I'm like, no, that's a phase of my life. We had 30 years before that I wasn't this way. Can you please give me some grace for the 5 and not pinpoint me that this was our whole marriage was this 5?
Like, I've not been like this a whole time.
Yeah, just for 5 years.
Just maybe I feel like
yeah,
that,
just for
but
the
it
last
just
5
feels
years.
like that,
Yeah, because
but-
it's big and they're not used to it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember having that conversation with her, and I'm like I go, you're the same you, but you do things differently, or you're more mature, or I'm more mature, right? And so those
or even maybe conversations, for me, it's like, oh, I feel comfortable to say, hey, like, can we readdress that differently, or can we say that differently, or can we have a conversation about that? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. So not trying to change the person's narrative, because you're right. They're going to have to do it, but it is good for you to be able to like own who you are and be assertive, right? Because we don't want to be kind of like, I'm not that person. That makes no sense. Like hey, like, I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm taking this into account, but I just want to remind you that we're not 16 anymore. Or wait, we've been married for 30 years and it's been really, whatever the conversation is, it's been really great. And these last couple of years have been hard since my mom died, or since you lost your job, or since I've decided to explore this career or go back to school. Like, we evolve. And just to remind, I mean, that's how you would do it. Like, hey, I want to remind, hey, without, being too much in your face, I just want to remind you that I evolve and I'm not the same person that you think that I am. And I would love it if you would just pause and hear what you're saying in your head. Like, you have a narrative, and maybe just don't get rid of it if you don't want to, but just put it to the side. And then make a new observation.
Yeah, I like that. So what I'm hearing you say. So if my sister, the therapist, I was giving advice to my friend.
Yes, to not summarize everything in 4 sentences, and then we'll end.
This is what I would say. So I would say to my friend, well, my sister, the therapist, this is what she would say, is that it's really important to know who you are as an individual and get to know yourself.
And like that person.
And be comfortable with that person. And then the second part, I'm hearing the last part that you're saying, is that if people who are around you know one narrative, that you should openly communicate with them and help them see
you could
in a different way.
Yeah, I would consider that.
And even point it out. It's okay to say, oh, I like thinking also.
It seems like you're hearing me be this person. And I would tell me more about that. Is that really what you're hearing? Or is that a reflection on a core memory?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think talking honestly and candidly is great. And you can have feelings with it, but all the feelings are okay. But if you notice you're starting to get upset, I would pause and go, okay, why am I getting upset? Because I don't need to be angry about this. I don't need to be hurt about this conversation.
Someone sees you differently than you think they should.
Yeah.
That's their choice,
So it's like, know who you are and really get to know who that person is. And if there are things that you want to evolve and do, then find those classes, find those activities that help you explore you as a person, and then evolve that way, and then invite other people to experience you differently and join you in that. And then they might have different narratives, and you all learn and grow. How about that? And then the last little bit is like, if there's someone who's really stuck in it, maybe have a open, candid, curious, compassionate type of conversation with them to go, hey, it seems like you have me here still. And help me tell me more about that. Like, is that how you see me? And is that what you're seeing me reflect? Am I still that person? Do you see me that on the regular, or just in this moment because this is what we've been talking about?
Yeah.
And then like, okay, well, all right, I will take that into consideration because I think I'm different, and here's how I think I'm different. And I'm hoping you'll make some space for that. It isn't about talking over them or defending yourself. It's more like, tell me more about this. And like, oh, wow, I really been trying to do this. And here's what I'm hearing you say. Tell me more about it so I can understand why you think I am who I was when I was 18 or 20 or 30 or going through that divorce. And I'm going to hear
Or
you.
through a really cranky phase, because sometimes we do have cranky phases.
Perimenopausal slap me in the face really hard, right? And then also then going, and when I really understand it, I'm hoping that you'll give me some space to share who I've been trying to be or how I've evolved, and maybe you'll see that differently, and maybe not. But either way, if I'm with a family member, I'm going to lead with like, no matter what, I love you. You're my brother, you're my sister, you're my spouse. We're on the same team. Or if it's a best friend or just my group of friends, like you're my people, and I want you to know you're my people. But like, yeah. And if you're not seeing me differently, I'm wondering what's happening with me, and I'm definitely going to reflect. Because if I think I'm one person and the feedback is I'm not, then it's like what you were saying as a joke, like, well, you're the common denominator. You take you where you go. So if people are giving you the same feedback in section, you're like, oh, maybe I really am that person.
For some reason, people always peg me as someone who wants to help. I'm like, what do I give off that you even don't even know me?
But
You just met me like a minute ago.
I know we're supposed to be winding down, but I'm hilariously laughing that you don't even get why people think that put you in that peg hole.
Well, no, but they've only just met me.
Oh,
Just met me. Like I can see if you've known me for like a hot minute. Yeah.
Or even a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Because people will say, oh, and you'll immediately go, oh, I know who you can call. So if someone met you for 5 minutes and they're telling you, I love Mexican food. Here's 5 Mexican food places you can go to today that are top notch.
And then somebody get my home and here's about the recipes.
Yeah, and you're like, or let me text you, and I'm going to send you this Instagram. I mean, that is who you are.
Yeah. But like, sometimes I've been in groups and I'm like, how do they know? Like, how do they know? Like, with just looking at me,
I don't know what the helpful aura color is, but let's say it's pink. You glow pink. Maybe that's what it is. People are like going, it's the helpful aura. Anyways, well, this was a good talk. I actually like it this way because we always have these notes. I like it when it's not planned. Next time we'll be in our pajamas.
I'm thinking I really want to, I actually have a couple of
snacks.
thoughts that I think would be nice to bring up that we've had this conversation. I need to bring a notepad next time so I can write them down so that we can bring them up for next time because I don't want to miss those
if you do want to talk more about helping people change the narrative, we can, but like I agree with you. I think that you can't, but that one little like, oh, can we talk about this? Because I feel like you see me still as that.
Yeah, and I think it falls upon them to let you
make the space and be okay.
It's not even a negative narrative. It's like I may start on my own life that people have said, well, you always do this. I'm like, yeah, but I always did that like 20 years ago. It's been like a long time.
Yeah.
You haven't seen me for 20 years.
Yeah.
You haven't seen me for 20 years. So you know me as a, you know me as a 12-year-old, but now I'm not.
It's like, you have to revolve. You have to see me evolve. And we'll end on this. I remember going off to college and you were at home and you were 16 dating. And I went to college and I went over to Hawaii. So I didn't come home as much. And I remember laughing after you were dating and got married and we all went on missions for our church. And then we came home and then you got married and I go, and then you had kids. And I'm like, it's so funny that your energy or who you, I knew you were a mom, but I'm like, it's so funny. I still think of you as a 16-year-old person who you were when I left and went to Hawaii to school or whatever.
Yeah, no.
Even though I logically knew you weren't, maybe it was the energy or maybe it was just me like going, I just like that season. I just like the season that was.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I don't know.
When he left, so that was 9, when he left for a mission from college.
That's right.
And when she came back and he was on the phone with me one time talking about a business idea and Savannah chimed in and he's like, you're right. She's got some great ideas.
Yeah, she's smart.
I said, because she's an adult now.
Yeah, she's 18, 19 now. Yeah.
She's kind of she's learned who she is. So
yeah.
I think it's good that people give people space to let them grow.
Yeah.
So I think is letting people have space. Those are 3 things I think is good.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
Love yourself.
Know and love yourself.
Yeah.
Know and love yourself 100%.
Share that with
The third
others.
one is in making sure that if you see that your growth is not being allowed, that
Yeah.
you
That's
have
the
a
bookmark.
conversation.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is like, let other people
Yeah.
have the
And make sure if you want that for you, you give it, you make sure you give that
really like
grace and space to somebody else.
3 points.
Yeah. Well, I see there's more points. We'll have to disagree on that.
Water. I'm sure there's 25 points. Honestly.
Yeah,
It's
it's all about communicating, having conversations, inviting people in, making space for other people. I mean, it's all kind of the same. We're just saying it
Those are
differently.
like little points below.
Yeah.
that, you know, like-
Which I have a YouTube, but I'm probably not going to go, oh, here are the key points. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just-
I
but
was
that
thinking
being said-
one, and below the one is A, B, C, but then there's an A that's got a lowercase I, a lowercase.
Can I just say that you and I do this in every conversation? We say we're going to end and then
Okay,
we
we're
talk.
done.
Okay. But that being said, let me tell everybody, thank you so much for listening. We're going to continue doing more of this. It's fun. Yeah, we'll say goodbye and you'll be, it's already, I haven't even fed my husband. He hasn't fed me. It's already after 10. You haven't been fed either. But that's because we were a bit busy today and this is the time we could meet. But I love you. I'm so glad that you're be part of this. You can say you love me back, by the way.
I could.
Is everybody listening to this? Is this my, I'm still recording. At any rate. Okay. Okay. I'm just teasing you.
No, she's not teasing actually.
Yeah. No, I am teasing you. Yeah. I already know that you love me, even if you don't tell me. We'll have a conversation about the I love yous later on. That'll be a good one. Oh my gosh, that'll be so fun, but that'll be more personal. At any rate, everybody out there, all our friends and people who are so cool to listen to us and want to spend this time with us, thank you for joining us. It's fun for us, and I'm hoping it's fun for you. If you have any questions or you want us to talk about things here on the My Sister's a Therapist, then please email us at or contact us through lifeyougotthis.com. I have an Instagram too. You can make comments or you can message me there, but there is a website if you want to do that, or if you want to be a guest on the show, or you can come join our little table here if you want. Good luck. Good luck getting a word in edgewise, but whatever you want to do, again, we know this is your time, and all of this is just about for us to be reflective and grow and be supportive and relatable to other people. And remember, this is your life. You got this. Bye-bye.